Hey there, everybody. Good morning. Meteorologist Travis Kleneski here on this Monday morning. Just a quick little note for all of you that watch on here or watch online. I will be gone at the end of this week here until the middle of next week, basically. Just gone, and won't. Luke will be filling in for me here for a few days. So, just kind of a note to you that I don't think Luke does too many Facebook Lives. If you watch on Facebook Live, if you watch online, he'll post a video online on the website, though. But on both the Canopy and the KSB websites. Anyways, a look ahead to the week ahead. Kind of an interesting week. We talked about this roller coaster ride last week when I was with you. Talked about a roller coaster ride ahead. Kind of a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but really what's going to happen now over the next 7 to 10 days is we started a high early this week, take a big dip down middle of the week, and then we're going to get to a high early next week again. It's going to heat up once again. So not doing this, but now just down and then back up again. Anyway, today is going to be one of our warmer days ahead. It's going to be pretty warm. Not too humid out there. The wind's not terribly strong, although I like a little bit of a breeze when it's hot out. But looks like a fairly sun-filled day, and really the attention for any storms will turn to the west and to the northwest. A few storms into the panhandle of Nebraska, but they'll really fall apart once they get out of the panhandle. So I'm not expecting a whole lot of severe weather activity out there this evening. Most of us will just see a few debris clouds overnight into early tomorrow morning. Another hot one for tomorrow, but tomorrow is going to be more humid. The dew points are going to climb. Dew points today will mostly be in the 60s. Tomorrow they're going to climb into the upper 60s and low 70s. It's going to get a little more uncomfortable for a lot of us. And late in the day, then we'll focus on a storm system. There's actually a cold front here as well, up here to the northwest. And that's going to be the focal point for some storms. There's also actually going to be a surface trough right here that could also be a secondary focal point for a couple of storms that pop up. Now, initial threats, we're talking early on big hail and potentially an isolated tornado or two. We'll see. But really, this is going to transition to more of a complex of storms that's going to have, and you can see, especially if it bows out like this here, we could see more of a damaging wind gust threat maybe in here as well. And this little bowing is what you always look for big winds. So we could look at wind damage as being the biggest threat overall as these push through as we head through Tuesday evening. Heavy rainfall is also a bit of a threat. A lot of humidity, a lot of moisture out there, and so it's going to rain pretty hard for those areas that move through. Here's midnight. Now we're starting to see western areas are clearing out. Eastern areas still dealing with showers and storms. Central Nebraska could still see some activity after midnight. By early Wednesday morning, this is starting to make its way on out. Partly to mostly cloudy on Wednesday, and then we get another round as we get towards the end of the day, Wednesday into Wednesday night. We're going to start to cool down on Wednesday. We'll cool down even more on Thursday, as you're going to see in just a bit. Severe weather-wise for today and into this evening, your best bet's going to be in northwest Nebraska right here. Marginal risk of severe storms, including places like Scottsbluff, Alliance, Gordon, and Shattering. This marginal risk area here, probably non-severe storms, maybe as these are weakening as they push into this direction later on this evening. Let's look at tomorrow's, because we do have a much better chance of some severe weather for our area. In fact, the northern half of our area has the best chance overall of seeing severe storms with that slight risk of severe weather here. The forecast models are trending towards weakening those storms as they push southeastward later in the night. So that's why we're down to a marginal risk in here, not a zero risk though. And then a weaker thunderstorm threat right in here where you're not really talking about severe weather in the southeast. But again, while early on there's a bit of a hail and maybe an isolated tornado threat, this mostly turns into a damaging wind gust threat as these push southeastward. Of course, we are still a day away. This could change a little bit. We'll give you an update coming in. We'll give you updates later today, and I'll of course give you updates tomorrow. Now, jumping ahead to Wednesday, we may see some severe weather. Once again, most of us under a marginal risk of severe storms as another system is going to come in late Wednesday into Wednesday night, early Thursday here. So a little more severe weather not out of the question, although the higher chance is probably going to be Tuesday evening. Highs today. Most of us will top out in the 90s. Low to mid 90s for most of us, but perhaps a few upper 90s in northwestern areas. Possibly near 100 in Valentine, could break 100 in Shattering. Let's take a closer look first to the northwest, and you see Valentine around 99 degrees, 97 degrees in Springview, 96 Spencer, 94 degrees in Tryon, 95 in Brewster, 93 for Broken Bow, 94 in Ord. North-southwest areas, mostly in the mid-90s, 93 degrees in Elwood, but 96 in Cambridge, McCook, Trenton, 97, Benkelman, 96 in Ogallala, 94 degrees in North Platte. Low to mid 90s in the southeast. We'll go with 91 degrees in David City, 92 Wahoo, 93 in Tecumseh, 95 in Fairbury, as well as in Superior, 94 Blue Hill, 93 Hastings, Grand Island, and St. Paul. And the northeastern areas, mostly lower 90s, perhaps mid 90s around Verdigris, 94 in O'Neill, 92 Plainview, Fremont, West Point, Pender, 92 in Columbus. So you see 92 is a pretty common number for a lot of those communities. So there's a look at your zone forecast for today around the different areas here. Let's take a look at tonight's forecast. We are going to be looking at temperatures not as cool as this morning, mid to upper 60s to near 70 degrees. So it won't be as cool because the dew point's going to start to creep up later today and especially into tonight. Going to be another hot one for tomorrow for most of us, up into the 90s, including some upper 90s in southwestern areas. But what we're also going to be seeing is the humidity is going to be a little bit higher for most of us tomorrow. Cooler 80s in the northwest as that cool front starts to approach and make its way through late in the day and into Tuesday night. Looking ahead to Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, we're down into the 60s to near 70 for overnight lows as you see that cooler air starting to move in. Wednesday's kind of an interesting day, a wide range in high temperatures. We could be as cool as the 60s in the northwest, but as warm as 90 or so in the southeast and everybody else in between here with that cold front diving through. And of course, more storm chances than Wednesday night into Thursday. Temperatures a little cooler Thursday morning, mid to upper 50s, low to mid 60s. And look at Thursday's could be the coolest day for most of us, not all of us though. Again, those northwestern areas may actually be a little bit warmer, even though they're still talking 70s here. Some 80s returning to the panhandle, but most of us in the 70s to right around 80 degrees for your day on Thursday. From there, we start to go back up just a little bit. Let's take a look at those extended forecast outlooks here as we look at the next 3 days in the Tri-Cities area. Storm chances coming in tomorrow night, Tuesday evening, Tuesday night through early Wednesday, and then another round late Wednesday into Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. From there on out, we're cooler for Wednesday, Thursday, then we warm back up into the mid to upper 80s Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Several more smaller chances of rain and thunderstorms, mostly between a 20 and 40% chance during those days. They're geared more towards the night than day, as we often see this time of the year, but that said, daytime showers and storms can't be ruled out. Let's take a look at the extended forecast. It does look like the heat's going to build back in next week. So, we get this big dip coming in Wednesday and into Thursday. We start to get back a little bit closer to average Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then as we get to next week, starting off next week, kind of like we start off this week with a little more heat building back in. North Platte, again, pretty quiet the next day and a half or so here with highs into the low and mid 90s. And then we talk storm chances returning Tuesday night. And then another round coming in Wednesday evening and Wednesday night, continuing into early Thursday morning. But most of our Thursday looks dry. Friday mostly looks dry with shower and storm chances returning later Friday into Friday night. And then again, more often on chances, mostly at night, but there are chances during the day. And again, you see the big drop in temperatures already down in the upper 70s on Wednesday, again, upper 70s on Thursday. And then we're climbing back up into the mid to upper 80s as we look ahead to this Friday and the upcoming weekend ahead with a little more heat building in as we look at next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, up into the mid-90s, which usually when you're talking mid-90s, 10 days out, 7 days out, 8 days out, that usually means that we're probably underestimating it a little bit, so it may get even hotter than that. In fact, most of the country is going to feel heat next week. See that from the Climate Prediction Center. They have most of the country under above average high temperatures. Really the only area that might not be above average is off to our north and northeast. Looking at the precipitation, probably going to shut things down a little bit. There are still some opportunities in there, but next week we may kind of shut things down, maybe some small chances here and there. So not all the above average like we were seeing. Excuse me. Apologize for that. As we take a look at the long-range models here, we'll kind of show you what we can expect for the middle of this week. So again, not much until Tuesday night. We already kind of showed you that with our Futurecast product, the one I showed you earlier. But again, another round. Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, and a Thursday morning. And there are just several more chances all the way through this upcoming weekend. So, next week, maybe drying out a little bit. We'll see. Let's look at the GFS model. Jump ahead to Tuesday evening. There's those thunderstorms. Rolling through, pretty good chance there. And then a Wednesday night to Thursday chance. Again, I don't think it's the best chance ever. A lot of it will depend on the timing of the cold front pushing south here. And then as we go towards Friday and the end of the week, we've got some small, slight 20 to 40% chances most of those days, mainly at night. And then we kind of dry it out a little bit. I don't think our chances are looking really good most of next week, but maybe late in the week we'll see. So the other thing worth mentioning here, the European model when it comes to temperatures, again, very toasty the next 2 days. Then here comes the cool down Wednesday. You feel it even more on Thursday. Then we're working right back up at the end of this week, the upcoming weekend, and right into early next week. We're going to feel a little more heat on the way here. GFS model isn't too different. There's a Wednesday cool down, an even bigger cool down Thursday. Then from there it starts to heat back up Friday into the weekend. Heat's going to build up into early next week as the ridge kind of takes over the central United States. But maybe late next week, we start to see some cooler air approaching and our weather pattern changing just a bit. All right, well, that's about all I have for you for today, everybody. I want to thank you all for watching on this Monday morning. I'll be back with you on Tuesday for 2 more days this week. And then, like I said, Luke will be filling in for me the rest of the week and early next week as well. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you all again on Tuesday morning. Take care, and God bless. Bye.